Hi, this is Dan Jurgens, and if you want to have a good time, keep listening to the Krypton Report.
It's a bird. It's a plane.
This is Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action. This is Mark Wade, writer of Superman Reboot, and you're listening to
The Krypton Report,
the All Things Kryptonian podcast, including Superman and Supergirl.
We discuss games, movies, cartoons, TV shows, and comics.
Find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Hello, I am the Superman of Blue, the Man of Tomorrow. My name is Tyler Patrick, and this is the Krypton Report. And welcome with me my co-host, the Superman of Red, the Man of Steel himself, Mr. James Cole. Now, tonight's episode is going to be a fun one because this episode is actually parts of different episodes where we were talking news, but due to either people dropping off, technical issues, or timing, we never really got to finish. So this episode is going to have some new content and some times where we talk about some other things that didn't make it in other episodes. But there's just been so much DC stuff come out. It's been a lot to talk about. So we've just tried to compile it into one thing for a coherent discussion, something for everyone to enjoy, and to catch up on some news and let you know what we're thinking, because this is a great time to be a fan. Enjoy. We're here to catch up on some more news because, there's all kinds of stuff that seems to happen. Like, what the heck, man? And with me, as always, is the mightiest of men, the mighty mortal, the Man of Steel, James.
Yo.
All right, let's jump into this. All right. So,
all right, let's do this.
So, trying to organize my thoughts. We got a trailer for season 7 of Flash. Good. I'm happy to see. It feels like, the marketing was getting slow on, a lot of stuff. And because Flash comes out in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from tomorrow, Flash will be back with season 7. And it was a trailer, but I couldn't really tell you what's going on in the trailer.
Let me see what was going on in the trailer. Iris was still stuck in the mirror realm. Barry still is losing his speed and is crying and somehow has to save the day.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we see like a glimpse of him running with like blue and yellow electricity as he's trying to create his speed force.
That's cool. Sadly, that's just been the Flash the last couple of seasons.
Yeah,
but
I'm hoping for a good retweak with this season because things have shifted and changed. We're supposed to get that condensed kind of off-camera exit somehow of Ralph Dibny, which with his character, he can change his face up, so they could use another actor to kind of be Ralph to say goodbye to Elongated Man. But yeah, and so that's exciting. Okay, I love the Flash. We got a poster for it. It looks cool. I was kind of hoping, Brian said this too, like maybe for the return of season 7, he'd get the gold boots, but maybe he will later on in the season. Because I feel like season 7 is going to start with kind of trying to finish off and catch up with what was left of season 6.
Yeah, COVID kind of shortened everything there.
And then speaking of Flash, okay.
Let's say in terms of Flash, I wish they'd have just finished it up, got it over with, so we didn't have to go back to it come the beginning of season 7.
I agree. So Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, and Batwoman have all got season renewals. So we will get Flash in season 8 and a Batwoman season 3 and a Legends season 7. Isn't that correct?
Well, actually, I think, yes, Legends season 7. They are actually, this has nothing to do with DC except for the fact that they renewed 12 shows over there at CW.
Yes.
Early renewal.
Yep. And we'll get a little bit more of that here in a moment. Black Lightning returned. They put a trailer up for Black Lightning. And it was like, Black Lightning returned. Here's the trailer. 1 week. And it's the final season of Black Lightning. And it's cool. Like, I watched the return. It was a good episode. there's a couple points on it that I was kind of like, are we still hitting on this? Like, I think the show had matured past this, but now they decided to step back. It is, sad that Black Lightning's final season, they just included him into the world of all the other heroes. Maybe we'll get some sort of mention of things, but I'm kind of curious how they're going to end it, I could see Black Lightning ending with Jefferson's death. Like, I just kind of feel like for that character, it could work. Especially the way that the tone feels going into this season.
I haven't gotten to watch Black Lightning yet, so.
And then keeping in our CW universe, I don't know if you've been watching. I just wanted to throw out a holler mention that Zaz was just on episode 3 of Batwoman. It was really cool. It was probably it is the best live action Zaz. Like, he's cocky and creepy. He has the scars. We see him mark himself with another scar. He's not as dark as, like, kind of the one we saw in Birds of Prey. But I don't know. Like, I would recommend just watching. If you're not watching Batwoman, just watch this episode to see Zaz. Because, we got Zaz on Birds of Prey. And we got Zaz on Gotham. And he was creepy on Gotham, but he wasn't, like, the marking up himself as much creepy yet. Like,
not yet. He was kind of just getting into that. He was marking himself, but it wasn't a focus of his character in Gotham.
Exactly.
The actor was great.
And I guess I didn't realize the actor that plays Zaz on Batwoman did do a small part on Gotham as a side character.
Did he? Well, hey, the guy who played Zaz played the poisonous smoke dude on The Flash.
Yeah,
so,
he did. Yes, he did.
It just kind of goes back and forth, right? The CW universe. And
yeah, it's funny how that works out.
Right.
Let's see here. The pilot for the Naomi series. So Naomi from Ava DuVernay, the recently created Bendis character, did get a pilot order from the CW. So it's got a pilot, not a series, but a pilot. And I'm kind of interested in how that's going to work if they don't tie it into to an already existing universe. She should show up on Earth Prime.
Yeah, in my opinion, that would be bring her into Earth Prime and have her be a remnant from her world that was destroyed in Crisis, maybe.
Yeah,
because I know she's from an alternate Earth in the comics, but that's about all I know.
I just don't. She came in. I read her story when she was in the actual Superman in Action run, but I didn't read her side story, and I just kind of wonder, being like a newer property. It's from DC Comics, yes, but nobody really knows this comic or this character. Will it do well? I don't know. We'll see.
Well, it also kind of gives the credence to No Expectations for people who don't know the character. Kind of how season 2 of Batwoman is with Ryan Wilder. It's a completely original character, and there's no expectations to where the story's going to go now.
Yeah, it's very much now.
But I really hope that does not mean. I really hope that does not mean for the CW that they're just going to start creating new characters to go into the DC universe so they can just do their own CW original characters and just keep doing their, dramatic irony filled teen drama stuff.
I agree.
If you're going to keep doing the DC shows, keep giving us DC characters and their secret identities and stuff. Give us something a little bit. We know it's different than the comics, but give us something anchored to the comics.
Right. I want something. I want to feel like I know these characters. But then also, they went ahead and the proposed Wonder Girl. This is so weird. They were going to do a Wonder Girl series on CW, but it was going to be the new Wonder Woman from Future State of Yara.
Mm-hmm.
And they've decided to scrap that. And that one I think kind of bums me because I feel like Wonder Girl kind of has some name recognition. You can kind of tie it in to a Wonder Woman, but it's still its own thing because it is this different character, this new character, something that we haven't experienced yet. And, you know, her origin is different. And I was actually thinking, because I really liked how she appeared in the comic, I was kind of interested in that one.
Her comics were good. We still don't have a whole lot of information. We've only gotten 2 issues of her comic, 2 issues of her with Superman, and 2 issues of her in the Justice League. So,
yeah, I mean, I was just kind of curious, but yeah, they've officially axed that. And that's kind of, I don't know, kind of a bummer because I feel like, in a way, the ECW, like we just had Crisis, and that was like the big, like, yeah, Crisis. They kind of introduced us at Justice League, and now they're just, it's all ending in one sense, you know, like we got Supergirl's Arrow ended, Supergirl and Black Lightning are going off the air after this season. We're going to get one new show with Naomi, maybe. And that's, you know, that's all we know. I mean, Stargirl is new too. I don't want to forget that. So,
absolutely.
And before we get into the next thing, I do want to throw out that they did cast Tim Drake for Titans. There will be Tim Drake on Titans. I can't remember the actor's name. I had it in my notes, but it's going to be nice to see a legit live action Tim Drake. They did ethnic swap him to African American, which is fine, as long as he pulls off the character. I did see some hate online about it because people suck and have no common sense or courtesy to anyone or anything in the world. So that's frustrating to me.
So honestly, I could care less. Jay Licurgo?
Yeah, sounds right.
That's the kid who is cast as Tim Drake, which is funny because he's the boy who looks super scared and is crying when Pattinson beats the crap out of that dude in the trailer.
Yep, he's one of the thugs in the Batman.
Yeah. The only thing that I don't like about this version of the character is Tim Drake wasn't from the wrong side of the tracks. Tim Drake didn't have a rough childhood growing up. He was a good kid. He only wanted to help Batman. He didn't even want to be Robin to begin with. He just wanted Batman. He knew things were not going good for Batman. So it was kind of out of the goodness of his heart. He was privileged, and he was just incredibly intelligent and very talented, and that's how he ended up becoming Robin. It seems like every time they ethnic swap a character like this, he's going to be, at least from the early casting calls, maybe they could change this, I don't know. He's supposed to come from a rough background and have a rough childhood, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Coming from like the streets of Gotham. Just because they race swapped him does not mean that his parents still could not have been privileged.
I agree.
You know what I mean? He could very easily still come from that background. Race be damned. Doesn't matter. You know what I mean? But why are they changing the background of the character just because? You know what I mean? Is it because of changing his race, or is it, you know, just the way they feel that it's got to be to go with the story? I really don't know. But
I mean, it's not like
it's how it usually happens. Yeah, exactly. It's how it usually happens, and it's kind of like they don't need to do that. Why are they not being true to the original version, like, yeah, I hope that specifically isn't the case just because they race bent him.
Like, he's not an amalgam, like there was a legit Jason Todd. It's not one of those where they kind of blend like they did on the animated series where they blended Jason and Tim's story together. So
yeah,
they don't have to, they don't have
I
to
hope he does.
That.
I hope he does well, and I'm glad to see Tim Drake getting some love. I mean, he's in a little bit of Young Justice season 2 and season 3. That's been it since the animated series. So it's been a long time since Tim Drake's gotten any love since Damian came out, really. And
he's the Robin everyone loves.
Jason came,
but loves
and
the
Jason came back as Red Hood. Exactly.
So we got that out of the way. Now, the other big news stuff is we got Superman and Lois has been ordered 2 more episodes. So that'll bring its episode total to 15. It hasn't got a renewal yet, but it did get 2 more episodes added. We got a new poster for Superman and Lois, which is our banner on our Facebook, which is a breathtaking photo that was also available on a pizza box near the Chicago area. You see the farm, you see Clark's face, you see Lois and the boys. There's been all kinds of really cool snippet videos that have been popping up from it. And then, like, you see it's Clark's face, but he's got the Superman and there's like costume on. You have the clouds, the sunset, Kent farm, the Kent mailbox. It's a great poster. I can't wait.
They're doing some pretty good marketing for Superman and Lois.
I mean, yeah. The other thing is we got.
Well, Superman hasn't been on TV in his own show since Smallville went off the air, and that wasn't even quote unquote Superman.
Yeah, that was.
So,
that was Clark.
I know.
And then we got a second trailer for Superman and Lois. And what did you think about the second trailer?
Actually, I'm going to look it up right now because it's been a minute since.
You've religiously watched everything since, we have so much stuff that comes at us every day.
I know, right?
I just feel like I do a lot of talking, and sometimes I feel like I need to let you talk.
No, it's fine. So you might want to cut out a little dead air here.
Nah.
Give me a second.
They've done a lot of they've done some Superman and Lois TV spots that have showed little bits of things. We do see that one of his sons in the trailer that's under those pipes. And we do know that Sam Lane knows that Clark is Superman. I'm still excited about that aspect of the series. I think that's a really cool concept.
My head's just been full of Zack Snyder news trailer bit, so I'm refreshing. I mean, it's pretty cool. It's really modern, Sam Lane knows that he is. It's nice to see the kids are actually upset, especially the kid who's Jordan. He's definitely upset. He's upset with both of them about lying to them the times that they were gone, and stuff like that. Like, they're upset that their parents lied to them that their father is Superman. I think maybe from what we're seeing that maybe it's kind of forced in a way, depending on what happens. I mean, you say it looks like the boy's under the pipe, or at least one of them is underneath the pipe. All the pipes that fall. So somebody didn't get hurt, and they want to know why. is what I feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like time to break the news. I mean, kind of like Clark was about 15 years old when he was told that he was an alien because things started happening that he couldn't explain, or at least he got to an age where he needed an explanation for the things that have been happening that he couldn't explain.
True. Yeah, I just the family dynamic, like we actually have more kind of fun music in the trailer. That kind of like lightens the mood a little bit. And I was like, at first I was like, this feels, I don't know, like it's all super serious, but then they kind of really lighten it up with that music. And I was like, okay.
Well, you know, like I said, a perfect Superman kind of lies in between like the super serious version and then the super campy.
We see more of like them in the house with the kids. We see Clark and Lois like in the elevator.
I mean, like the line where, what is that, Lana's daughter that's in the barn with them?
Yep.
And they're like, what'd your dad say about growing up here, or did your dad tell you about growing up here? And she says it's completely boring or something, and they're like, well, I think he actually liked it, or that he really liked it. Like, it's nice showing that Clark loves his farm boy days growing up on the farm.
He does. I mean,
in the middle of nowhere.
He does love it. It's I think it's the first place for someone who, would find out like he has no home in a sense. It is his home. We get to see kind of just more shots of Clark, like being kind of Clark, like dealing with stuff. And it looks like the kids find Daddy's ship. We see them pulling out where the ship would have been. And so that's kind of exciting that they're going to find his craft and, kind of prove that he is Superman.
It's pretty awesome looking effect, though, because, back in the day in Smallville, we would have gotten him holding something up, picking up a tractor, holding up a vehicle, catching a car, what have you. Now see where we've come. We've got him lifting up the truck above his head and then flying up with it and like all seeing it.
Yeah. I really like just the feel of this show, like of Clark, like, we need you at home. The world's going to need Superman, but we need you at home. And of course, in this trailer, there's also an awesome shot of Superman using heat vision up close. And I'm really excited for this. Like, we've talked about it, like, of course I'm excited for it being Superman, but I just like this angle of Superman, like just something fresh and a new way of approaching this character.
Yeah.
And then the last bit of news, and this just dropped here recently, we cast Angus McFadden. He was in Braveheart. I believe he's also in Saw 3 as
Sounds right.
As Jor-El. So I'm like, okay, that could be cool. Like, not that I have anything against him as Jor-El, but sometimes it's just kind of neat to get some legacy casting in for Jor-El. I'm still waiting for what do you call it? Like Gerard Christopher, to be Jor-El.
Right. Well, we can, we've got a character actor to be Jor-El now. I mean, at this point, I think Superman is going to, I don't know. It's hard to say. He's going to want advice about being a parent, but his father, I mean, it's a computer. It's not his father. He didn't raise him either.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It kind of just makes me think that having a character, you're going to need the character anyways for something involving Superman and his past and his parentage, but maybe like later on some sort of Oz effect storyline.
That could be cool. Well, guys, real quick here. Did anyone see the announcement about that they're going to bring Superman 78 into the comics now and do its own line that they did before Batman 66?
I saw that Batman 89 thing. I missed Batman, or I missed the Superman thing.
So, yep, they're going to do Batman 89 as a comic book run and Superman 78 as a comic book run.
Okay,
that's definitely awesome. I was hoping they would do something like that. I mean, they did Batman 66. They did the comic book, and then they did the Return of the Caped Crusader, the two animated films. So they really brought back the 1966, and then even then they did the 77 Wonder Woman? Is that when it was?
Yep, Wonder Woman 77.
Yeah, Wonder Woman 77. So Linda Carter even got a Wonder Woman book. So between those things, I was like, well, when are they going to do comics of like Superman, like Chris Reeves, or all these projects that got passed over, like old movie projects and things like that didn't get developed, or that completely changed, like Tim Burton's Batman 3 instead of Batman Forever. That they could do these as comics or animated movies, be really cool to see that. And I think it took a while, because I think the Batman 66 was very popular. I think it took a while for them to really explore these popular worlds that they have under their umbrella, and give us more stories in the worlds that people still go back to. I mean, especially with Superman, Chris Reeves, and everybody has their sometimes I put an S on Reeves and it bugs me when I do it.
It's that slur. I've done it too. Other things.
Yeah. And
being a loser.
Everybody has their version of Batman, and Michael Keaton is that version of It is so many people's Batman and stuff. Like, yeah, definitely. It took a while, but I think now embracing really embracing the multiverse over all forms of media now, being TV and movies and comics and stuff like that. Like the way that they're doing that, like how the multiverse is a big thing. This way they're giving like the creative freedoms, to these directors to tell stories they want, or these writers to tell stories they want in basically almost any time period. Like, I think it's about time, and I'm excited to see it when it comes out. I believe they come out digitally in July. I believe it was the 27th. I'm not positive on that. I know it was July, and then they're going to come out in print in August, and then they're going to have they're short series. They're not long, because they already have the collected editions planned for October and November.
Which I'll probably just buy the collected edition, I think, there. But I'm excited too. I always think those are fun, and yeah, we've talked about that. The other thing I was going to ask you guys real quick, Soul of the Dragon came out, and we haven't reviewed that yet. We'll get around to it. It was a much different kind of film, but it had the trailer attached for the Justice Society World War II, which will be coming out soon. What did you guys think of that? trailer?
I don't know if I saw it.
I watched the first look on the special features, and then they have the trailer on YouTube, and it's interesting. They've got it's got somewhat like the same it's got the same like computer animation cell shaded animation that they used for the Man of Tomorrow.
Yep.
And it's Justice Society, and Wonder Woman's leading the Justice Society in World War II.
Wait. Does it have Barry in it?
Yes.
It has Jay Garrick and Barry. Yeah, Barry comes from the future.
My bad. I did see it.
Which makes me wonder if it'll be part of something connected with Superman Man of Tomorrow. Because of the animation style and the fact that a Barry comes to the past. So, that Barry could be the one, with Superman. I like that Wonder Woman's big again. Like she's like very back to original Marston Wonder Woman. And we're going to see her leading. There's no Green Lantern, which is a bummer. For the Justice Society, there's no Stargirl or Starman. Wonder Woman does have an accent, which that's cool, I guess. It's different. But it looks good. Like, I like that we're branching out a little bit away from Superman and Batman. I like that we have a Flash and Wonder Woman, and with other characters that, need support. And I'm actually really excited for it because, I like the brighter look of this animation style. And I like back to more of our superhero comic book. I don't know if you guys have watched Soul of the Dragon, but it reminded me real quick of like Arkham, the Assault on Arkham, where it really was a Suicide Squad movie, but Batman was just in there to kind of help sell it. This is much more of a kung fu movie with characters where Batman, once again, is just there to sell the film.
Yeah, he's a vehicle to introduce these martial artists, but Batman fits very well into the martial arts world of DC.
Oh, he does. And I mean, it works. I'm not against it, but saying like, that's what that was. But yeah,
what could be really interesting is if, because it's the same animation, if they have an idea of a shared continuity going forward, for how they had the continuity before that ended with Apocalypse War.
Mm-hmm.
If they do move forward, what would be really awesome is, like, say we get some of these other movies. So we're getting Wonder Woman in World War II with the Justice Society. We're going to see Barry going back in time. We're going to see Jay Garrick and stuff. We could get, so like, this is a Barry movie and a Wonder Woman movie, and then maybe we get a Batman movie or something. But when we get another movie down the line, we can get Wonder Woman again.
Yeah.
We get Wonder Woman maybe even with a new costume, an updated costume, because she's got a very golden age costume in World War II. But we get Wonder Woman, because she's like immortal, as it would seem, or at least she has extreme longevity, depending on what version you have, but she could look the exact same with an updated costume in contemporary times. So that would be really cool to see as a way of going, maybe they, just something that occurred to me, maybe they took the idea of 5G, what they were doing, how they were kind of doing like a timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they're transferring that over to like the animated world, where Wonder Woman was one of the first heroes. Back in World War II, Wonder Woman's one of the first heroes. And then we get Superman, so maybe it's something like that. Maybe they're using a timeline or taking the timeline from what they developed for that and adapting it into the animated universe. That would be cool.
So let's see what other news we have. Oh, yes. So John Wesley Shipp just filmed scenes to be Jay Garrick in a flashback sequence on the new Earth 2 for Stargirl. So that helps officially bring Stargirl more into the Arrowverse, even though, it was teased as the part of the new multiverse at the end of Crisis. It's the only one that we feel is going to make some sort of connection with the already established cast.
Right. Yeah, they didn't have any connections before except for the shot from Crisis, but and I'm pretty sure Jay Garrick was from Earth 3.
Yep.
In the Flash. So, but in the new 52 Earth 2, and I'm pretty sure other versions, but in the new 52 Earth 2, Jay Garrick was the Flash on Earth 2.
Yeah. So that's just, post-crisis reconstruction.
Yeah. But it's going to be awesome to see Wesley Shipp back as a Flash, as Jay Garrick, because that was a pretty exciting moment back when he was revealed to be Jay Garrick from Earth 3 back in season 2.
Oh man, that season was good. Such a good season. So Stargirl, they advertise as returning this summer. So I'm thinking June-ish, maybe, May, June-ish, but they said Stargirl summer because they're filming now, and then it said Legends comes back May 2nd.
Legends comes back in May. I just saw something else. Legends, Stargirl, Supergirl isn't supposed to come back until the summer either, or very late spring as well.
So I'm wondering if they're going to have it come back after Superman and Lois.
Right. Well, just proof of concept. Superman and Lois, a show that was given 13 episodes. They expanded it to 15. CW should run year-long programming with, shorter to no breaks in between episodes of the series. Maybe just breaks for certain events, obviously, like, when the Super Bowl happens, it's just going to take away viewers and things like that.
Oh, this is like when there's elections.
Shorter seasons.
Like
yeah. Shorter seasons, better story, better money per show, per episode, and year-round programming. That way they don't all have to run concurrently at the same time and have the summer break.
That was one thing I felt like years ago, USA did that. Like, they always did a lot of original programming over the summer. Like, that's when Psych would air and stuff. And it was great because during the summer, back when we just had our basic cable, we had something to watch, something new to look forward to. And I feel like that would be awesome, when DC Universe was on, they gave us stuff over the summer, which was nice. So it would be nice to have something like that.
Yeah, network TV is not the same as it used to be. It's nice to see the appointment television programming. Like, so I bought the whole season of Superman and Lois season 1. I already bought it, so I'm going to have all of it every time a new episode drops, every Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever it gets released on Amazon Prime. And but I'm still going to watch it every single Tuesday on TV, watch it through the commercials, and then when I go to rewatch the episode, I'll watch it on my Amazon Prime without commercials. But I'm watching it on television. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah.
But I'm watching it live. That's for sure, as much as possible. And, network television and the standards, especially in the streaming age, it seems like it should probably be on its way out. Changing to year-round programming, which they've always had year-round programming, but they always had the bulk of their shows, the shows that they cared about the most, in the fall and spring television seasons.
Do you remember when like the TGIF for ABC would do like a special that was like a little teaser? It was an episode special, like, but it would tease and like introduce all the shows they were going to have in the fall. I remember watching a couple of those where it was just like the new stuff coming or whatever, and we just don't get fun stuff like that. Like, I think the last time something fun that I can think of was back when they did that special on the CW before Wonder Woman the movie came out, with like Kevin Smith and Jeff Johns and stuff. They were talking about like Wonder Woman the movie and Justice League and Suicide. I think they had it even before Suicide Squad came out. Like, I know BVS, I think, came out at the time. Maybe. I'm trying to remember. I don't know. It's been so long, but do you remember that?
I remember some of the
So over on HBO Max, we got the announcement that Superman the Animated Series is coming to HBO Max March 17th, which will be awesome because, one, that's our friend Luke Bugg's birthday. Two, we're going to be doing this summer, which we've had planned for over a year now, we're going to look at Superman the Animated Series.
Yeah! I can't wait.
So that's going to be awesome that, as we do this, there'll be a place for listeners to join in,
Yeah, if they don't have the complete series on DVD already. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately with the move from DC Universe to HBO Max, we may have to pause our Legion of Superheroes and pick that one up later. Our reviews on those episodes, but
yeah, that definitely.
I'm excited to talk about Superman. I've loved that show since I was little.
Yeah, I had the VHS, but we'll talk about that when we get there. Yeah, it does suck that didn't get moved with everything else. So our Legion discussion did get paused. And also HBO Max news is we got our first look of Blackfire's costume in Titans. So this is kind of the third costume reveal for Titans. We got Starfire, we got Red Hood, and now Blackfire. And Blackfire looks awesome. I mean, they're just continually doing really good costume work.
Definitely. That has always been the strongest point of Titans. Then next was their focus on character,
Mm-hmm.
But so, I mean, I'm looking forward to what they bring us with Titans Season 3. And it likely should have a step up in budget, which we've talked about. And they'll be able to expand what the team is able to do. Hopefully we get some good Titans action, little bit less of the inner fighting drama.
Yeah, because I feel like
we got. Go ahead.
No, like I said before, if you kind of look at Titans season 1 and 2 as one season of like your standard TV show, because it's like, the Titan season 1's your first half, Titan season 2 is your back half. When it ends, you're in a good place. Like, they're the team. Feel like, and I'm hoping for more Beast Boy action of, him not just being one in.
Yeah, finally breaking through, getting to become multiple different types of animals. Maybe he gets better at changing, and it's not so slow, and because he always has to duck out of the fight and all this other stuff. So, really hope they do expand this year. It's been great the last 2 seasons. But it definitely does need to evolve if it wants a 4th season, because, it was really great character stuff, but there was a lot of inner fighting between teammates and for the characters themselves. They're fighting their own demons, and we got some characters to get through that in the first 2 seasons. No doubt we're going to see some other characters have it in the 3rd season. But I think it needs to, give us a little more of a team dynamic that works together, as opposed to one that's always fighting all the time.
I agree. And I do know that Connor Leslie was spotted on set. So that's going to be awesome. We'll get to see Donna Troy back as speculated. Now, Black Adam has reported that it's going to start filming April to August of this year in Georgia. So that's great because that was announced.
That's like 7 years in the making now.
I mean, I think it was in 2014. I feel like The Rock as Black Adam was released shortly after they released. Because I remember it was the day after The Flash premiered on CW that they made that huge announcement of Ezra Miller as a Flash for Justice League and the whole slate of their planned films. And I want to say within a day or so of that when they announced The Rock was going to be Black Adam. So, I feel like 2020 we just kind of forget it even happened as a year. It's kind of picking back up, left off.
Yeah, the local news around here, they like to put the 2020 the lost year. Everybody lost a year of their lives just being stuck in one place all the time.
I mean, it's pretty true. I mean, so yeah, I just feel like we're picking back up. And then also Shazam 2 starts filming in May or June is when they're going to, late May or early June, Shazam 2 is going to start filming. So that's a positive. We're getting things, going. It'll be nice. And, the only thing with Shazam is all the kids are growing up, and I'd rather have the kids more grown up and just keep exploring the same dynamic and try to recast. It's always weird, if they would have cast Billy younger than what they did in the Shazam movie. But at the same time, part of the fun of Shazam is the fact that he is a kid, and
yeah, what we don't get to see often with Billy and Shazam is we only get to see a compressed couple of years of his life as Shazam. We don't get to see much of anything beyond, when he grows up to be a grown man with a job and he's still the champion, and he goes off to save the day.
Mm-hmm.
We don't see too many stories like that.
That could be fun. That could be some new kind of territory because I don't want a recast or anything because I feel like you lose a lot. But speaking of Shazam, so actress Rachel Ziegler, not familiar with her.
Me neither.
She hasn't really done much. Has been cast in Shazam 2 in what they're calling an important role. Speculations all over the place. The two that kind of come to my mind is either one of the three weird sisters.
Like the Sisters of Fate?
Yeah, because that's who they talked about was going to be in it. But the other big kind of rumor is she's Zatanna. So I'm like, okay. One could go either way. I'm fine with. So I have been asking for a new live action Zatanna for as long as I could remember because it's a great character. Needs to be explored. And with magic and everything, this makes sense. Said that on Legends / Arrowverse. And here we are.
Yeah. I like how we have so far in the DC universe, and it kind of seems like moving forward with the Flash and the possibilities for Shazam, and we get Black Adam and the JSA that's going to be involved there. I like how so far the DC universe seems to just be opening up and giving you characters, even in solo films, like for specific heroes. You still see so much stuff that encompasses the DC universe, people and places, and it's just giving us more characters, not being, I don't know, such a small and focused plot, but also focusing on what they need to focus on, the characters.
Yep, I agree. I think it's important that they do that just because characters can work together without forcing characters that shouldn't be together to be together. So I look forward to whatever happens because I like my content. I want more of my content. And it's just a good time. Also, on the movie front, they're working on a Blue Beetle movie. They have a director attached to Blue Beetle. And it's Jaime Reyes, Blue Beetle. And cool. I mean, it's a good character. I love Jaime's story in Young Justice Season 2. I think he's a great character to explore. It keeps the DC brand films alive without constantly beating us with the same stuff.
Right. And Jaime's story is very science fiction. And even in the past, in like Young Justice, there was mysticism connected to it as well. So it could be pretty interesting. Because Jaime Reyes is the Blue Beetle. I mean, he is the only one who the only Blue Beetle who truly interfaced with the Scarab. So that's going to be that's an interesting character point to be able to think about, especially if they delve back into the history and discuss the first Blue Beetle, which I can't remember his name, and then discuss Ted Kord as well. If they give us any history on the Scarab.
And that would be really cool to have some history on the Scarab. Even do something where you have, what do you call it? Ted Kord, like at the beginning with the Scarab, and then has the accident, and then like jump forward or something. And
that's kind of my thought. I have no problem with them kind of jumping in the middle of the action, and Ted Kord is like on his way out, fighting for his life, and then what happens, and Jaime Reyes is passing by outside, and we go from there.
Exactly. Anyways, let's keep it moving here. We got some more news to discuss. We have an announcement that I feel like pretty much nobody saw coming. That just kind of took everyone by a and that is we have a new Supergirl, not a new Supergirl movie, but we have a new Supergirl for the Flash movie. And first of all, the actress is Sasha Calle. She is of Hispanic descent, origin. I love when we talk about comic characters, you say origin.
Right.
She's done The Young and the Restless. And first of all, I watched, my friend Donovan sent me this clip of her just doing some interviews and stuff from some of her acting, because I'm not watching The Young and the Restless. She's got a good vibe, energy, feel to her, and I can totally see where they would pick her. She also, I mean, you look at her, she has dark hair. She would look good next to Cavill as Cavill's cousin. They could pull it off. And, you know, like, even me, like, the only thing is, like, I always complain about, like, hair color and stuff just because so much in comics, characters are recognized by their hair color because different artists draw features and faces differently. You only have so many colors. So it really, you know, is important on hair color. You know, because even
even more so on the page.
Because like the Flash, you know, he is blonde, and Grant has brown hair, a light brown. That's the closest we've got to like the Flash. It's correct hair color.
Yeah, Ezra's hair is black, and you know, in the comics, you've got multiple Flashes, people who've held the mantle of the Flash, and you know, Barry's blonde hair, Wally's redhead, Bart is usually brown.
Yep, and I mean, it just helps you distinguish. So, you know, there's been a lot of people already saying shade, first of all, that she's not blonde. First of all, they don't have to make her blonde, okay, for the movie. They don't have to do that. They don't want to. You know, Melissa is not even a natural blonde.
No, she's a brunette.
Okay, and you know, so there is this thing called hair color. Okay, most actors who play Superman, their hair is more darker, and then they dye it black to make it that jet black Superman. Okay, so let's calm down on that. Okay, if they choose not to move forward with her being blonde, okay, just give me the good character. You know, the whole that she is part Hispanic does not bother me. My only thing is if the person, actress, whatever, looks like she could be related to whoever Superman is. That's, you know, because I mean, all they have to do is make her mom, you know, like if they showed her Kryptonian parents, make her mom more Hispanic, whatever.
You know, the show Krypton, we had multiple races there.
Exactly.
Everybody living together at different levels because of the strict caste system that was on Krypton, and you know, all different races living together. That's, you know, there's, I mean, it's kind of messed up that that's not how the world is already, but or at least peacefully, I guess.
Yep.
But you know, it makes no difference. I just want a decent Kara Zor-El, and I mean, you know, like Earth 2, we got Val-Zod, and guess what? Val-Zod is black on Earth 2.
Yeah.
So, does that mean the Zods are black like they are on Krypton? Yeah, it absolutely makes no difference. I mean, it's great for the representation of everybody, but makes absolutely no difference on what character they choose. Or the race of that character. In most respects, there's a few characters just because of their history and their story wouldn't really make sense for them to be anything else. But
the only one that really comes to mind that I've talked about before is Captain
America. Yeah, that's probably the main one.
And I say that because one, we know our history, and I hate saying it, but I don't think that they would want anyone of a different race to have that kind of power to be the symbol of America during World War II. And the whole idea with him being blonde-haired, blue eyes, was it was a slight at Hitler at the same time. You know, like Captain America is pure American, but yet he was like Hitler's dream for what an Aryan should be. So like it was an attack on him at the same time.
Makes sense.
I just want good like actors that can bring these characters to life correctly. That's what I want. You know, we talked about a little bit, and we won't dive into it. Just glancing at Tyler, he looks like, oh, he could be a Superman, but he doesn't like look like your classic Superman. But yet his acting, his portrayal, I see the character in him. And
Absolutely.
And that's what's important to me is we have so many of these comic book character that they get and we get basically like these models representation. What I mean are people who look the part, they look like it, but yet they do very little to bring the character to life, to make me feel the character more than based on the looks. So I'm excited. I think the real part about this whole thing is the Flash movie. Really? Like, it means that is she either A, an alternate Earth, or B, like a fallout of what the Flash does? Like, if it's Flashpoint or not, like when whatever happens in his hijinks, like, is she on another Earth? Or is when he gets back to our Earth, she's there? Like, what's her role kind of going to play in this? Because if they're going to cast this actress and believe in her talents, I don't want it to be kind of a throwaway. I don't want it to be like, oh, she's the Supergirl on this Earth that Barry works with, and that's it. Like, because if they want to continue and do something with her and do a Supergirl movie with her, or she appears in it alongside Superman, because a Superman Supergirl film would be excellent as well. I just, I don't want her to be nothing, like if they're going to have Supergirl, I want her to be around for a while.
Yeah, definitely. This the Flashpoint idea, the multiple Earths. It's a great way to bring back old characters, like we're getting Michael Keaton, but also to introduce new characters. I mean, could they be one-offs that maybe get picked up later on? I mean, we're just, the multiverse aspect of bringing the multiverse aspect to the DC universe as a whole, through comics, television, movies here kind of makes anything you want to do wide open, as long as you do a great story and are true to the characters.
I mean, I agree, because I want well done stuff. I'm tired of so much like, oh, we want to kind of do it like this, and then we end up down the road and talking about reboot. And speaking of reboot, here's the big news that everybody has blown out of proportion.
Way out of proportion, man.
Because what was reported and what I read was from Deadline that J.J. Abrams is set to produce a new Superman film. They have no director, and they have a screenwriter. The screenwriter is an African American who had previously worked writing the Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan's next film. Okay? That's what was reported. That was the gist of it. Okay? Now, with those details, it is not specified if it is a complete reboot, because they didn't say reboot in the article. They said a new Superman film.
Yes.
It does not specify if it's a Henry Cavill Superman. Okay? So, without those details, people are now taking this and saying, oh, they're rebooting Superman again without Cavill. Cavill's Superman. He's my Superman. Let's, have Cavill. And then because of the author's affiliation, everyone's speculating and saying, oh, it's going to be Val Zod. It's going to be Val Zod.
Or even Calvin Ellis.
So
I've seen that one as well, of course.
I've seen that one, but not as much. And all I can say is, let's see. Okay, before we all jump the gun, let's see what's going on. It could be Man of Steel 2. It could be a Man of Steel that introduces Val Zod into it with Cavill, with potential of his own films. Because I think Val Zod, you kind of need somewhat of established universe or establish something to bring him in, or it just kind of feels odd because of his story.
Yeah. His story being, he was hidden. Superman was in the world, and he took on Superman's family crest when he revealed himself. Plus, he's a vegetarian or a vegan. I'm not sure which, but and he is a pacifist.
Yeah, he has a very interesting story. I mean, and I'm trying to remember because it's been, but didn't he show up on Earth 2?
Mm-hmm.
And wasn't it after, because for the longest time on the Earth 2 New 52 comics, Batman and Superman were dead.
Yeah, in the opening of the New 52, it's Darkseid invades Earth and is winning, and Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman, they devise a plan that will stop the invasion. And during executing their plan, it works, but they all end up dead. Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. So on Earth 2, and it was only those three, basically. So on Earth 2, the world exists with a Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman who saved the planet and died.
And so you kind of have to have some sort of, to do his character correctly, you kind of need some sort of established Superman. Or, I mean, you could probably make it work, but I don't know. It's just one of those. I just feel like you need to find a way to make his character, because then do you really get the character that he is? Because of where he stands. Now, Calvin Ellis is a different Earth that is of the House of El. And it's a different storyline. And if that's
he's a Kal-El with a C, and however else they spell it differently.
So if they want to do a Calvin Ellis film, that's fine. Like, I'm cool. I mean, I don't care. I'm just tired of people jumping the gun and already hating on stuff before they've even said anything. They've not given us any details. They've not said anything about it. And
yeah, it was literally just an announcement of, we've got a writer, and J.J. Abrams and his production company are working on this.
And my thing is, with Henry deserves a standalone film. He deserves a chance to really show and prove his Superman skills, because he got Man of Steel, and that was Superman becoming Superman. And then he got the shaft of very secondary in BVS in both cuts. I mean, at least the ultimate cut gives him more to do as Clark. And then Justice League theatrical, he's minimal in it, and we'll see how much he plays.
And they screwed up his face.
Yeah. And then, some of his performance scenes aren't bad. I will say that like some of his like in costume Superman part are not bad as far as like how he's acting and the feel I get watching it. But that digital face thing screwed it up to where it's like, ugh. So he deserves his own film. And I just feel like we're not exactly like in a place where I feel like we need a complete reboot of Superman unless you go with like a Val Zod or Calvin Ellis, and then it's a whole new universe of a Superman. Because I mean, I think back when they did Superman Returns, they maybe could have shepherded a soft reboot out of that, like into something more. But they wanted to distance themselves from all the Superman that had come before because Superman Returns being so much of just a continuation of what was already done. You know, it wasn't so much an ode appreciation to the Reeves film as much as it was like just a continuation. And it, you know, this was the same time as we had The Dark Knight going on. And so I think after The Dark Knight, they were looking at different options of what to do, and they just decided that, hey, we should just do a clean reboot like we should have done with Superman Returns. And that made sense at the time. So I just feel like we don't really need that right now. But we'll see.
you know, Cavill has become my favorite Superman. He just, I mean, one, he looks the part. Two, in some of his scenes, you know, especially in Man of Steel, like just with a look and with his actions, what he does to save the day, like he inspires trust and hope in the people around him. He really did in that movie. People like to look past that because of the large scale action set pieces, but he did. And in Batman versus Superman, he got to play the part of you know, part of the world loves Superman and part of the world distrusts him because of their hatred and their bigotry. As well as, you know, like Batman and just trust issues. Like you can't trust somebody that powerful who could potentially be that dangerous. And you can see that part of the world would react that way as well. And then we're going to get to see what he gets to do here. You know, his Superman, I think if he had another opportunity to land somewhere between Man of Steel and BVS and Justice League, he would be really great.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see him again in a Man of Steel 2, you know, with a different director. I mean, we get MC, and I love Zack Snyder, and I think he was the perfect choice, in my opinion, to bring Superman to the big screen, to show what's possible to be done with Superman these days. But I want to see, you know, they do all these movies, sequels and stuff. A lot of them get done by different directors, and like especially if you see like the MCU. You know, First Avenger was great, but Winter Soldier was the best thing the MCU has done. And the Russo brothers did a lot of great stuff for the MCU just by getting their foot in the door. And I think, and we can have that with Superman.
And I mean, also, I think Zach is he's done with all that. Like, you know, he's giving us his Snyder cut of Justice League, and then, you know, that's him, like,
yeah, which is okay. I mean, he can produce, obviously, especially if they use Cavill moving forward in any other film. And I want to see more with him. I'd love to see Cavill with another director be Superman, but if they tell another universe story with a different Superman, I mean, I think I want to see it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see it, and You know, I'm sure that I will be entertained and also have things to say about it. I'm sure there's going to be great things, and I'm sure there's going to be things that aren't so great.
That everybody yells and complains about, because that's all.
Exactly.
That's all anyone ever wants to do. So, all right, that's the news. We're all caught up on this fun episode of the Krypton Report. We want to thank everyone for being here with us, and have a good night.
Look up in the sky.